Yeah, so he leaned on it and then it basically just went, boom, basically, yeah.
But was he okay? Like, did he
Yeah,
not get
he was
cut?
like, no, he didn't get cut. That's what I was worried about. I didn't really give a shit about the table. I called the company and they were able to cut it up pretty quickly. But yeah, that was good.
Yeah, at least he wasn't cut. But it's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. I mean, it was the middle child too.
Was he scared?
Nope. He said, "Oh no, man." That's all he says.
That's funny.
All right. Well, let's take a look what we got here, and then I'll be trading live tomorrow. I have to trade live after this weekend. Let's see. Let me turn it on. All right. So it's kind of doing what we anticipated. If you guys recall, a couple of weeks back, I mentioned that there's a high chance that we start building some zones here, and we had the FMOC week was the pop was here, I believe, that Wednesday, and then ever since then, right, we're able to fill the value inside this LVN. What I'm talking about is this zone right here, right? I'm just gonna go back, hide all this. So we're filling the value in here. I would say you're above the CPOC, that's for 4 weeks, because this is a 4 week balance. Some people would say it's a 3 week balance, but why would you ignore this week? Anyone?
Live mic right now.
Because the value area is included in the other one, not to the right, maybe?
I mean, they're overlapping value areas, right? Overlapping range, overlapping value. So the way I see it is, I mean, this is your 4 week balance, at least for me, right? And structural balances are, there's no right or wrong decision, but this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a 4 week balance. Value is overlapping here, the range is overlapping. So for me, it's a 4 week balance. And now we got to see what happens, right? And as you guys know, typically I like to look at these balances with the FVP, and we'll get there, but just kind of go over the weekly, right? I would say on the weekly, we had the levels identified previously as key levels, right? I think we had somewhere around 94 or whatever that level was before. Yeah, 94 was the level we were watching to see if they cracked that, and then below that was the value area low. The prior week, I believe, was 62.75 or something like that. Let's call it, yeah, 63. And you see them, they came back, they cracked below it, and that's basically where they rejected it. And I don't know, I think I was mentioning that this would be a good short on Friday when they popped this, and they took a decent dip, right? They went all the way here and they held it. So when you take this 4 week FVP, if I was to do this right now, let's see here, and I'm just going to go on ETH for a moment. I'll hide this guy here. You guys are not confused. So depends how you if you draw the 3 week balance, right? This is the CPOC is going to be somewhere here, as you guys see it, and that's what I have marked with the 3 week POC. I personally think it's a 4 week balance. So when you drag this out, you can expect for this POC to shift down as it has right here, right now. So when you look at it, right, so you have a major shelf, of course, around 86, and then building up all the way to that 93 to 97 area becomes dangerous. But there's nothing stopping you here from basically taking this as a 4 week area and playing those levels till they don't work anymore, right? A lot of people are just kind of fixated on smaller stuff, right? So if you go here, I'm just going to switch screens so I don't have the same drawings twice. Let me go to PVP. Switch this again to electronic. There you go. And now you see, I would say it's a pretty clear that this is a 4 week balance. At least that is to me, and maybe I'm wrong, right? And could be. But to me, this is clear as day. This is the level that we were watching, right? Now, if you're able to just kind of imagine, right? And if you attended a class previously on volume profile, this is the range that you're interested in, right? So all you have to do is hide the rest of this stuff and see what do they do with the extremes, right? So here's your first extreme on the bottom. I guess they bounced perfectly off of that one. Here's your second extreme, and then here's your CPOC, or the mean. And the second step would be that we do 95. Okay, well, and this would be our zones right now. So a lot of people that I've seen right now are super bearish. What is the reasoning for bearishness here? Is there any reason to be extremely bearish based on where the price is?
No.
No, not really. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I know this is going to be a heavy week, right? I believe we have a FMOC and CPI this week, so there's a lot of volatility potentially hopping in. But this is a pretty wide range. I mean, 51.81 to 53.21. That's pretty good, right? So on a bigger scale, these are your levels. This is all you care for, right? And if you want to get more specific, you can go, third sig, and they'll most likely be, well, this one stays the same. You'll have one more level to the downside at 68. But these are the levels, and this is your fair price. This is the reversion to the mean. So what they're telling you right now, when we went here first time, we got this massive bounce here, guys, right? 60 points. Then you went below it, and you didn't like it. You found other time frame buyers here, right? And then, I guess you recovered majority of Thursday to Friday sell-off. I haven't even honestly looked at it yet. But you covered majority of this sell-off from Thursday on Friday, right? You retraced a lot of it. And I'm pretty sure that this, just looking at it, has a bunch of single prints everywhere. It's probably all single prints. So when we look at the daily, you'll be able to spot, right, where's the weakness, and then if this is our prior day high, most likely if you crack this, high chances you're going to the 90 level, right? And I would probably draw small zones around these levels just because they're fairly heavy nodes. If you look here, you see how heavy the nodes are sticking out. So I would draw some of these boxes, and look at the POC area here. It's pretty heavy here. And then you have an LVN here on the bottom, so I would cover that one like somewhere like this. So these would be the zones that I'm watching on higher time frame. If you're above CPOC and you're accepting this and you're not cracking below it, that means you're interested in higher prices, right? You believe the fair price is here and you're willing to, offer more for the price of something. So does that make sense using 4 weeks? I just want to make sure you guys understand it. Anyone confused?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So now going back to our analysis day to day. If I'm playing this, which I will be tomorrow, when I switch this to TPO, we need the dailies. And we need RTH to see the disaster they did on Thursday. Okay. Yeah, so, the profile looks horrific, right? So they did recover a lot of it. They still have a little bit to go till 86. I would expect them to tap this, but then as soon as they come to this previous week value area high, this could potentially be a nice short, right? If they crack this, I wouldn't try to short all these PDHs, previous day highs of this level. Most likely they can do something like this, go above, stay here, and then target this, and this is where they can trap a lot of people, right? So we are in balance, and a lot of people were bearish on the bottom. What do you expect them to do once we reach the top? Same thing they did here, same thing they did here. You expect them to go all in, and then everybody starts buying calls for the next day and day after, and then they get punished. So looking on this, daily here, if you want to call this daily, I don't even know. It's pretty bad profile. What is the level that you guys would consider for a breakout, meaning bullish? I'll zoom out, see who catches it. What would you consider bullish here? Just structurally, price action, what is it?
Over the 5320?
Over 53.
79.80 level.
That one's good. But remember this level? Does anyone recall this level right here? What was this level here? Wasn't that our prior zone breakout? Didn't we have a zone right here that we broke out on FMOC? Wasn't this the zone prior? You guys see it?
Yeah.
Sorry about the Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
With the single prints.
the Wednesdays that broke out. So now, and you look at the high volume node that's sitting here, and look where we bounced off again now. You came back to there, and you're bouncing off of this. So if you're able to crack this 57, the chances are that we are not interested in trading in this value here. They came back here, and they just have to reclaim this 57, and then they're going to start hitting the next targets. Would I ignore prior weeks? Remember that 62, 63 level? Why is that level important? Let me bring this up. So it would be this one right here. Why is this level important?
Is that an SR flip?
So remember, when you're looking at every time frame, right? When you look at the daily, let's start with daily. Is daily framing up or framing down?
It looks framing up, but it's just a small candle.
Well, I wouldn't say it's framing up just now. Right now it's an inside day, but we finished on a framing down, right? We are able to break the lows here. We made it in the lower low and lower high. Now you just have an inside day. You had this sell-off, right, on Friday, and now you have, you're setting up here. But it's framing down on a daily. When you look at the weekly, right, the weekly level that we had, remember when we talked about the inside weekly prior, like I think last Sunday, I said this was a massive week range and this was a previous week low. It's like 63, 62 level. I'll tag it here. Let's see, where is it? 63. Remember this? And I said, just breaking this level doesn't mean you're bearish when you have an inside week, because this week here is fairly massive, right? And I said, a lot of people can get trapped on this, where they go heavy short here, and they most likely get destroyed if they didn't close this, right? If they're greedy, they probably lost all their gains. So right now, if they're able to stop the framing down on weekly, what do you think they go for? I would say they go for the first sig first. And they crack that, they're going for all-time high. Does everybody see it or no? So on the weekly, we're framing down. Yeah, framing down right now. But remember this week, this is an inside week that we had between this one and this one here. And I'm pretty sure I explained this to you guys in the class as well. When I said a lot of people are going to be watching that 63, and look what they did. I mean, there's a heavy single print here on this time frame. And if you even turn on the TPOs on the weekly here, I'm pretty certain there's going to be some kind of split on distribution somewhere via single prints that they left. Let's see what they have. Yeah, so what did I do here? Let's go 65 minutes. There's a little bit. You guys see it? So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. I think somebody actually mentioned the level. I didn't catch the name. I didn't recognize the voice. Where do you guys think the value can be built higher? I mean, it's pretty clear, but let's see if you guys see it. On last week's volume, right here on the weekly, where did they have a division of value?
52.82.
Right here. Is that what you guys are thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It's pretty clear, right? And then when you think about what we had prior weeks, right? I mean, it's okay to look back. Remember how we had this week here when we had the original bounce? I think it was 67, 71, 67. This was our previous level. Now the split is here. So if they're able to, let's say, crack above the 57 and then the 63, which is our prior week low, there's a lot of congestion, right? But if they're able to reclaim the 63 for me, right, which was their prior week low, and start, killing that framing down, kind of reverse that, then you have the ability crack above. I don't care about this level now. I was just giving you an idea because that got cleaned up, right? If they're able to crack this and get into this week's value area low, that's big, right? Most likely what you're going to target is, look at your single prints on the top. You guys see this? 2, 2, and then you have a little bit of access here on the top. So there's a lot of poor highs on the weekly here, and I think we ended up Friday with a poor high as well. So I would definitely watch, if we crack 63 to 80, probably take some off, and then I would watch for the run towards the 90 area. Crack above this, I would say 95. I had 97 on my chart. I'll show you why. So here, if you look at the previous week value area high, if you're able to crack this and go above it, let's say hit this, and then you come back and you're offering bid, I would take that for long. But if they just do this, if they just sweep this and then they lose this, that's a perfect short. Because everybody's going to be looking for a long once we first crack it, and I'll be looking for a potential short on a retest. So keep that in mind. We're in a 4-week balance. It takes massive news to break the 4-week balance. The longer the accumulation, the harder the hit's going to be. So don't fall for small breakouts. Use maybe 30 minutes, when you see the breakout, and kind of gauge the volume. See if that performance of that breakout makes sense. Does the volume agree? How's the value? Is it catching up? Is it not? Is it staying back? Is it tight? Those are the signs that you can kind of pay attention to. Okay. So as long as we crack, for me personally, if we hold 39 right here, which would be the CPOC, and this area, I mean, just look at this congestion here. You have 4-week CPOC, you have the March POC, which makes sense, right? And then you have the previous week value area low. If you're able to crack through this area of, let's say, 34, yeah, high chance you're going to hit 52.15. That's 20 points. And then if you look here, right, you have a tiny little gap, I would say, in between here that most likely you will revisit if you crack 15. If you're holding this here, let's say if you go below this and you reclaim it, watch out. Because if they get momentum, they can crack over, hit the 63 and then keep going. And I would target somewhere around here and next level here. So for me, honestly, the pivot's all about 57 personally. Once they crack 57 here and they're able to build value above it, I would be targeting first the 80 zone that you guys just saw on the split on the weekly. Once they're able to kind of crack that, then you can watch for those quick hits. And you guys hear me saying you're going to see a bunch of zeros right now, and the volume just picks up and they bid higher. A lot of stop losses get triggered and they take off. Okay, so 57 for me, I'll pay close attention to it. If we can crack above that, probably target this poor high that you have first, which is not bad, 15 points, and then second, I would target right here, 86, and then the 97 zone. And then if you're able to crack this zone, which is pretty heavy, you're going to need a lot of volume and a lot of initiative sellers to come in. If you crack this, we're targeting access low 15, and then you have a gap at 55206, and then the bottom of this has to be cracked. This 5194 has to be cracked. And if you guys look at it, we have a large node that's sitting kind of like right here. If you guys remember 4180, 5180, not 4180, I'm sorry. 5180 is pretty big, right? And even if you go from, from this run up here, you'll see that node's pretty decent size, right? And that's the one that I just basically highlighted here. Losing that, then you're most likely targeting, go to October lows. Let's see, let's go even from here. And then you see the next volume node would be somewhere here. And this is congested area, 5100. Most likely would revisit this area next. Okay.
Did you
Any
say October?
October lows, yep. I mean, from October lows, I would look for FVP and look for the liquidity areas on volume profile.
Gotcha. Are you ever looking at clouds on buy?
I do.
instruments or no?
Yeah, I look at them during the day. I have toss
Okay.
up during the day. Yeah.
Yeah, the 5300. We were trading within that gray cloud on the daily and 4-hour.
They were closed.
Well, we were close.
Yeah, they were closed.
Yeah, the closed gray clouds. So we came right out down from there.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
impressive at how accurate those are.
So when the clouds close, as I explained in the class, it takes a miracle for it to go through, especially if it's more than -1 on MACD. And typically those are my favorite setups when I have it, right? Because they do bring a lot of confidence in terms of, you know, your stop loss and then also your profit targets. And I'll share the clouds tomorrow for a moment during a trading live to show you guys how I use them intraday.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go actually sleep. I've had a 9-hour drive and instead of 5.5. I'm exhausted, and I'll be on live tomorrow, so I'm gonna catch some sleep, and I'll look forward to trading with you guys tomorrow.
Good night, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty. Good night.
Alrighty, have a
Good
good
night.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.